Shalom, family. Uh, Excuse if it may be jumpy or the signal. There's a storm outside, but nonetheless, I am protected. All praise to the Most High. We are in the second book of Kings, chapter 19. And it came to pass. Okay. And it came to pass when King Hezekiah heard it, that he rent his clothes and covered himself with sackcloth and went into the house of the Lord. And he sent Eliakim, which was over the household of Shebna, the scribe, and the elders of the priests covered with sackcloth, to Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amoz. And they said unto him, Thus saith Hezekiah, This day is a day of trouble, and of rebuke, and blasphemy. For the children are come to the birth, and there is not strength to bring forth, to give birth. Wow. Yeah, that's deep. Oh, wow. What an amazing time we're living in right now. It may be the Lord thy God, Rabakah, the king of Assyria, his master, hath sent to reproach the living God, and will reprove the words which the Lord thy God hath heard. Wherefore, lift up thy prayer for the remnant that are left. To the servants of King Hezekiah came to Isaiah, and Isaiah said unto them, Thus shall ye say to your master, Thus saith the Lord, Be not afraid of the words which thou hast heard, with which the servants of the kings of Assyria have blasphemed me. Behold, I will send a blast upon him, and he shall hear a rumor, and shall return to his own land, and I will cause him to fall by the sword of his own land. Wow. About to fuck around and find out. And so Rabakah and Rabshakeh returned and found the king of Assyria warring with Libnah, for he had heard that he was departed from Lachish. And when he heard say of Tirhakah, king of Ethiopia, Behold, he is come out to fight against thee. He sent messengers again unto Hezekiah, saying, Thus shall ye speak of Hezekiah the king of Judah, saying, Let not thy God in whom thou trustest deceive thee. Wow. Saying, Jerusalem shall not be delivered into the hand of the king of Assyria. Behold, thou hast heard what the kings of Assyria have done to all lands, by destroying them utterly. And shalt thou be delivered? Has delivered them, which my fathers have destroyed, as Gozan and Haran and Rezeph, and the children of Eden, which were in Belasor. Where is the king of Hamath, and the king of Arpad, and the king of the city of Sepharvaim, and Hena, and Iva? And Hezekiah received the letter of the hand of the messengers and read it. And Hezekiah went up into the house of the Lord and spread it before the Lord. And Hezekiah prayed before the land and said, O Lord God of Israel, which dwelleth between the cherubims, thou art the God and the choice fir trees thereof. And I will enter into the lodgings of his borders, and into the forest of his Carmel. I have digged and drunk strange waters. Yeah, that's what's happened. That's what's happened, folks. You're drinking that strange water, getting fooled, drinking that Kool-Aid. All right. Oh, it look all good. All glitz and glittering, all high definition. You got it in 1,000,000K. All right. Yeah. Go ahead and shine bright like a diamond. Congratulations. You played yourself. You played yourself. You played yourself. Great glory. I'm guilty. Hmm. And with the sole of my feet, I have dried up all the rivers of besieged places. Hast thou not heard long ago how I have done it, and of ancient times that I have formed it? Now have I brought it to pass that thou shouldest be to lay waste fenced cities into ruinous heaps. So all of you fortified, everybody thinking they want to come together. You be fortified all you want until you start getting picked apart and picked off one by one. You thought you was safe. Therefore, their inhabitants were of small power. They were dismayed and confounded. And they were as the grass of the field, and as the leaf herb, as the green herb, as the grass on the housetops, and as be grown up. But I know thy abode, thy going out, and thy coming in, and thy because thy rage against me and thy tumult is come up into mine ears. Therefore, I will put my hook in thy nose, and my brittle in thy lips, and I will turn thee back by the way by which thou camest. Ooh. You thought your little shine was gonna get you somewhere. You going right back where you just came from because you kept doing exactly what you was doing. I can't and keep with these niggas. You going right back where you came. Thought you came for celebrating. Thought you got the touchdown. You dropped it on the 1 yard line. You dropped it on the 1 yard line. And this shall be a sign unto thee. Ye shall eat this year such things as grow of themselves. Go ahead. And in the second year, that which springs, so ye and reap, and fruit thereof, that is escaped of the house of Judah, shall yet again take and bear fruit upward. For out of Jerusalem shall go forth a remnant, and they that escaped out of Mount Zion. The zeal of the Lord of hosts shall do this. Therefore, thus saith the Lord concerning the king of Assyria, he shall now come into the city. Wow, yeah, y'all ain't getting in. You messed up. Man, nor shoot an arrow there, nor come before it with shield, nor cast a bank against it. By the way that it came, by the way that he came, by the same shall he return, and shall not come into this city, saith the Lord. Access denied. For I will defend this city to save it for mine own sake. So you thought kicking me out. You got kicked out of the big house. defend this city, and for my own sake, and for my servant David's sake. And it came to pass that out and smote in the camp of the Assyrians 185,000. And when they arose early in the morning, behold, they were all dead corpses. So Sennacherib, king of Assyria, departed and went and returned and dwelt in Nineveh. Oh, wow. There it go. What is that? That's King chapter 19, 12. Yeah, I remember having a dream, and that was based off of the book of Jonah. And it mentioned Nineveh. And Nineveh was a city that I've worked in. Like I said, I worked in many of the states around the country, every everywhere around the country, activating ley lines, kissing the ground, and liberating our ancestors, doing the work that I was ordained to do, supposed to do, destined. And so to see Nineveh in the same, to have that same dream of me being in the mouth of a big ass fish in Nineveh just happened to be, I believe, 8 or 9 Ninevehs are all in a diagonal line parallel to each other, where X marks the spot. Well, one half of that X was pretty much accurately aligned. So to see that the people dwelt, yeah, it's just a side little note. That's what's come out of a lot of all my investigations in my own life and everything that's going on. So to be able to see these things translate from hindsight, insight, and foresight, man, at this point, it's beautiful in life. And it came to pass as he was worshiping in the house of Nisroch, Nisroch, his god, that Adrammelech, and Sharezer, his sons, smote him with the sword, and they escaped into the land of Armenia. And his son, indeed. Chapter 20. In those days was Hezekiah sick unto death, and the prophet Isaiah, the son of Amos, came to him and said unto him, Thus saith the Lord, set thine house in order, for thou shalt die and not live. Wow, that's deep. Then he turned his face to the wall and prayed unto the Lord, saying, I beseech thee, O Lord, remember now how I have walked before thee in truth and with a perfect heart, and have done that which is good in thy sight. And Hezekiah wept sore, and wept bitterly. So, no, I'm not going to cry and be bitter. Here we go. And it came to pass, before Isaiah was gone out into the middle court, that the word of the Lord came to him, saying, Turn again and tell Hezekiah, the captain of my people, Thus saith the Lord, the God of David thy father, I have seen thy tears. Behold, I will heal thee. On the third, I will add unto thy days 15 years, and I will deliver thee and this city out of the hand of the king of Assyria. And I will defend this city for mine own sake, and for my servant David's sake. And Isaiah said, Take a lump of figs. And they took and laid it on the boil, and he recovered. And Hezekiah said unto Isaiah, What shall be the sign that the Lord, and what I shall go up into the house of the Lord the third day? And Isaiah said, "This sign shalt thou have on of the Lord, that the Lord will do the things that he hath spoken. Shall the shadows go forward 10 degrees or go back 10 degrees?" And Hezekiah answered, "It is a light thing. It is an easy thing for the shadow to go down 10 degrees, 10 steps. Nay, but let the shadow return backward 10 degrees." Wow, that's interesting. Hmm. It's easy to go in the shadow, but it's hard to come out of the shadow. So yeah, you can go in the shadow and you're gonna wind up standing there, because that is the difference between being, everybody's capable of being a liar, but everybody's capable of hurting somebody. But are you able? And when you're able, that means you cross that line. You cross that boundary. You broke their covenant. Sometimes it may not be a literal baby. It may be a figurative or metaphorical. So this is judgment for all, Esau and Jacob. When you put it in that perspective now, that you got many of Jacob's children, you got many who still live in the shadow and will false advertise light. Ooh, it looks good. It blinks and it. Yeah. Blind shepherd leading sheep off a cliff, and they find out the hard way. And Isaiah the prophet cried unto the Lord, and he brought the shadow 10 degrees backward, by which it had gone down in the dial of Ahaz. At that time, Berodachbaladan, the son of Baladan, king of Babylon, sent letters and a present unto Hezekiah, for he had heard that Hezekiah had been sick. And Hezekiah hearkened unto him, and showed them all the house of his precious things, his treasures, the silver and the gold, and the spices, and the precious ointment, and all the house of his armor, and all that was. Okay, is that better? Let me see. Yeah, turn my mic. And so, and all the armor and all that was found in the treasures. There was nothing in his house, nor in all his dominion, that Hezekiah showed him not. No, showed them not. Then came Isaiah the prophet unto the king Hezekiah, and said unto him, What said these men? And from whence came they unto thee? And Hezekiah said, They are come from a far country, even from Babylon. And he said, What have they seen in thine house? And all the things that are in mine house have they seen. There is nothing among my treasures that I have not showed them. And Isaiah said unto Hezekiah, Hear the word of the Lord. Behold, the days come that all that is in thine house, and that which thy fathers have laid up in store unto this day, shall be carried into Babylon. Nothing shall be left, saith the Lord. And of thy sons that shall issue from thee, which thou shalt beget, shall they take away, and they shall be eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon. And then said Hezekiah unto Isaiah, Good is the word of the Lord which thou hast spoken. And he said, It is not good. If peace and truth be in my days. Wow, that's deep. Peace and truth. And a lot of people won't be truthful. A lot of people won't be truthful about even me being a part of this project that just came out, huh? And keeping that under the wraps. Act like I don't exist, huh? You're banned. We'll never talk to you again. You're not a family. You're not part of a nation anymore. Yeah. Peace. And as many people that won't be at peace, they won't. None of them. Not one of y'all. None of you. Because you're not being truthful. When you be the truth, you speak the truth, and you live the truth. But you'll be disturbed all your days when you're not truthful, when you're lying to the people, when you're lying to yourself in the mirror. They go hand in hand. How much is your balance? I'm at peace because I know the truth. And I am the truth. And I speak the truth because the truth is the word. And the word is the truth. And the word is the truth. And the word is peace. So I'm at peace. Yep. And the rest of the acts of Hezekiah and all his might. And now he made a pool and a conduit and brought water into the city in the books of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah. And Hezekiah slept with his fathers, and Manasseh his son reigned in his stead. 21. And Manasseh was 12 years old when he began to reign, and reigned 50 and 5 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Hephzibah. And he said that which was evil in the sight of the Lord after the abominations of the heathen, whom the Lord cast out before the children of Israel. For he built up again Hezekiah, his fathers had destroyed, and he. Yeah, you can build your altars and build all your stuff on high. But are going to find out the hard, no matter how high you think you're going to get. You hear that? That's thunder and lightning. Because you were not being truthful. You can keep on going high and building. They will be destroyed. And he reared an altar for Baal and made a grove, as did Ahab, king of Israel, and worshiped all the hosts of heaven and served them. And he built altars in the house of the Lord, of which the Lord said, in Jerusalem, will I put my name? And he built altars for all the hosts of the heaven in the two courts of the house of the Lord. And he made his sons pass through the fire and observed times, and used enchantments and dealt with familiar spirits and wizards. Wow. He wrought much wickedness in the sight of the Lord to provoke him to anger. You have provoked the Lord to anger. Yeah. And he set a graven image on the grove that he had made in the house, of which the Lord had said to David and to Solomon his son, in this house and in Jerusalem, which I have chosen out of all tribes of Israel, will I put my name forever. Wow. Neither will I make the feet of Israel move any more out of the land, which I gave their fathers, only if they will observe to do according to all that I have commanded them. So you didn't get past you dropped the football on the 1 yard line. You did not score the touchdown. Y'all didn't score the touchdown. Y'all messed up dropping the ball on the 1 yard line. Y'all messed up. Whether removing me, kicking me out, whatever, you messed up. Oopsie. Now the Most High is out here peekabooing. Nobody's exempt. Most High been watching all of us. And we all make mistakes, but when you ain't truthful about them, then you don't start seeing any peace. You start thinking you see. He'll give you what you think you can get from, like you got from your forefathers, but you've been being observed. A lot of brothers and sisters ain't been keeping up, taking credit. Yeah, you take the credit. I want the Most High's grace and mercy. That's so beautiful. You have been observed to do according to all that I commanded them, and according to all the laws that my servant Moses commanded them. But they hearkened not, and Manasseh seduced them to do more evil than did the nations whom the Lord destroyed before the children of Israel. Wow. You guys are fiddling with your lies. You're about to corrupt so many people. At least you'll try. You'll be stopped in your tracks when you don't know it, when you least expect it. It may not come through you directly. It may come through something else. Person, place, things, or ideas. And the Lord spake by his servant the prophet, saying, because Manasseh the king of Judah hath done these abominations, and hath done wickedly above all that the Amorites did, which were before him, and hath made Judah also to sin with his idols. Therefore thus saith the Lord God of Israel, behold, I am bringing such evil upon Jerusalem and Judah, that whosoever heareth of it, both his ears shall tingle. Jerusalem, the line of Samaria, and the plummet of, and I will wipe Jerusalem as a man wipeth a dish, wiping it and turning it upside down. And I will forsake the remnant of mine inheritance, and deliver them into the hand of their enemies, and they shall become a prey, and a spoil to all their enemies, a plunder. Because they have done that which was evil in my sight, and have provoked me to anger. The fact that you even went through with all of this, truly pissed off, and you just keep on going. Now, keep going. You can have the credit. You can have the album. You can have the nation. I want the Most High's grace and mercy. Because they have done that which was evil in my sight, and have provoked me to anger, since the day their fathers came forth. Moreover, Manasseh shed innocent blood very much, till he had filled Jerusalem with one end to another, beside his sin wherewith he made Judah to sin, and doing that which was evil in the sight of the Lord. Now the rest of the acts of Manasseh and all that he did and his sin that he sinned, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah? And Manasseh slept with his fathers and was buried in the garden of his own house, in the garden of Uzzah, and Amon, his son, reigned in his stead. Amon was 20 and 2 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 2 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Meshullemeth, the daughter of Haraz of Jotbah, that which was evil, and as his father Manasseh did, and he walked in, and those that his friend worshipped them, and he forsook the Lord God of his fathers, and walked not in the way of the Lord. And the servants of Amon conspired against him, and slew the king in his own house. And the people of the land slew all them that had conspired against King Amon. And the people of the land made Josiah his son king in the acts of Amon, which he did. Are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah? And he was buried in his sepulchre in the garden of Uzzah, and Josiah his son reigned in his stead. Chapter 22. Josiah was 8 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 30 and 1 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Jedidah, the daughter of Adiah of Boshkath. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, and walked in the way of David his father, and turned not aside to the right hand or to the left. And it came to pass in the 18th year of King Josiah that the king sent Shaphan, the son of Azaliah, the son of Meshullam, the scribe, to the house of the Lord, saying, Go up to Hilkiah, the high priest, that he may to the house of the Lord, which the keepers of the door have gathered of the people, it into the hand of the doors of the work, that have the oversight of the house of the Lord, and let them give it to the doers of the work, which is in the house of the Lord, to repair the breaches of the house, unto carpenters and builders and masons, and to buy timber and hewn stones to repair the house. Howbeit, there was no reckoning made with them of the money that was delivered into their hand, fully accounting. And Hilkiah said unto Shaphan, the scribe, the book of the law in the house of the Lord. And Hilkiah gave the book of Shaphan, and he read it. And Shaphan, the scribe, came to the king and said, Thy servants have have poured out the money that was found in the house, and they have delivered it into the hand of them that do the work, that have the oversight of the house of the Lord. Wow, that is so real in my life right now. How and used and manipulated and took credit. Yeah. The people close to you will hurt you the easiest and fastest because they're right there in the closest proximity, and will take credit and wonder why the people down and below them, so to speak, because they're not, will be disgruntled and do things like CEO of United Healthcare type of things. But when you do somebody wrong and you take everything that they work so hard for, please believe that there are consequences for that. And you are going to find out. The fact that you walk into your grave, if you live that long, you may not see it, somebody else may see it, but you are going to have to pay. And Shaphan, the scribe, showed the king and delivered me a book. And Shaphan read the book before the king. And it came to pass, and the king had heard the words of the book of law, that he rent his clothes. He tore his clothes. And the king commanded Hilkiah, the priest, and Achiah, the son of Shaphan, and Achbor, the son of Mechiah, and Shaphan, the scribe, and Azariah, the servant of the king's, saying, Go ye, inquire of the Lord for me, and for the people, and for all Judah, concerning the words of this book that is found. For great is the wrath of the Lord that is kindled against us, because our fathers have not hearkened unto the word of this book, to do according unto all that which is written concerning us. So Hilkiah the priest, and Achiam, and Achbor, and Shaphan, and Azariah went unto Huldah the prophetess, the wife of Shalom, the son of Tikvah, the son of Harhas, keeper of the wardrobe. Now she dwelt in Jerusalem in the college, and they communed with her. That meaning they spoke to her. And she's hold on a second. Thunder and lightning. And she said unto them, Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, I will bring evil upon this place, and upon the inhabitants thereof, even all the words of the book which the king of Judah hath read, and bring a calamity. Because they and have burnt incense unto other gods, that they all the works of their hands. Wow. Therefore my wrath shall be kindled against this place, and shall not be quenched. So the fact that y'all wanted to claim all the work, and that's what you did. And so it is, and so it was. And you presented it to the people. Pride and ego cometh all guilt and shame. Y'all gonna feel the burn so bad. It ain't gotta be me. I'm at peace, I'm cool. But you did not give back. And you laughed. And you provoked. And you kept provoking. And you provoked the Lord's hands. That this place shall not be quenched. The Most High will not stop haunting y'all. But to the king of Judah, which sent you to inquire of the Lord, thus shall ye say to him, Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, as touching the words, because thine heart was tender, and thou hast humbled thyself before the Lord. When what I spake against this place, that they should become a desolation and a curse, and hast rent before me. And I also have heard thee, saith the Lord. Behold, therefore I will gather thee unto thy fathers, and thou shalt be gathered into thy grave in peace. And thine eyes shall not see all the evil which I will bring upon this place. And they brought the king word again. That is deep. Yeah. Yeah, that project was consecrated. Now it's desecrated and desolated. And now the people are about to eat poison candy. Not by my doing. So that's why I'm at peace. Chapter 23. And the king sent, and they gathered unto all the elders of Judah and of Jerusalem. And the king went up into the house of the Lord, and all the men of Judah, and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem with him, and the priests and the prophets, and all the people, both small and great. And he read in their eyes all the words of the books of the covenant, which was found in the house of the Lord. And the king stood by a pillar and made a covenant before the Lord to walk after the Lord, and to keep his commandments and his testimonies and his statutes with all their heart and all their soul, to perform the words of this covenant that were written in this book. And all the people stood to the covenant. And the kings commanded Hilkiah, the priest, the high priest, and the priest of the second order, and the keepers of the door, to bring forth out of the temple of the Lord all the vessels that were made up for Baal, and for the grove, and for all the host of heaven. And he burned them without Jerusalem in the fields of Kidron, and carried the ashes of them unto Bethel. So yeah, all that idolizing, putting yourself on a pedestal. Yeah. Got him pissed off the Most High, because the glory was all to y'all. So now y'all finding out the hard way. He put down the adulterous priests. That's y'all. Whom the kings of Judah had ordained to burn incense in the high places, in the cities of Judah, and in the places round about Jerusalem. Them also that burnt incense unto Baal, to the sun, and to the moon, and to the planets, and to all the host of the heaven. They removed. You will be removed. Y'all lied. You lied to the people. Shame on you. It's seen amongst the sun, the moon, and the planets. The planets seen what y'all do. Everything you do. You are not exempt. Everything. You are not exempt. And he brought out the grove from the house of the Lord, which unto the brook Kidron, and burned it at the brook Kidron, and stamped it out, and stamped it small to powder, and cast the powder thereof upon the graves of the children of the people. And they brake down the houses of the Sodomites that were by the house of the Lord, where the woman wove hangings for the groves. And he brought all the priests out of the cities of Judah, and defiled the places, and defiled the high places where the priests had burned incense from Geba and Beersheba of the gates that were in the entering of the gate, in of the gate of Joshua, the governor of the city, which were on a man's left hand at the gate of the city. Nevertheless, the priests of the high places came not up to the altar of the Lord in Jerusalem, but they did eat of the unleavened bread among their brethren. And he defiled Topheth, which is in the valley of the children of Hinnom, that no man might make his son or his daughter to pass through the fire to Molech. And he took away the horses that the kings of Judah had given to the sun at the entering in of the house of the Lord by a chamber of Nathan Melech, yeah, the chamberlain, the officer, which was in the suburbs, and burned the chariots of the sun with fire. And the altars that were on the top of the upper chamber of Ahaz, which the kings of Judah had made, and the altars which Manasseh had made in the two courts of the house of the Lord, did the king beat down and break them down from thence, and cast the dust of them into the brook of Kidron, and the high places that were before Jerusalem, which were on the right hand of the mount of corruption, which Solomon, the king of Israel, had builded for Ashereth, the abomination of the Zidonians, and for Chemosh, the abomination of the Moabites, and for Milcom, the abomination of the children of Ammon, did the king defile. And he brake in pieces the images, and cut down the groves, and filled their places with the bones of men. Moreover, the altar that was at Bethel, and the high place which Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel sin, had made both that altar and the high places. In the high place he brake down, and burned the high place, and stamped it small to powder, and burned the grove. Wow. It's about to get real heavy right now, y'all. And so Josiah turned himself. He spied the sepulchres that were there in the mount, and sent, and took the bones out of the sepulchres, and burned them upon the altar, and polluted it. He defiled it. Wow. See how people peddling poison. Snake oil salesmen peddling poisons. You polluted the waters with your actions and your words. You desecrated a consecrated product. I worked on the road day and night, working 12 hours a day, producing, mixing, and mastering. Crazy. I went through a lot. And I was happy to have done, because it was definitely my thank you to Most High. Y'all messed with the medicine and turned it into poison. You removed the medicine, and now you're peddling poison. Because you did wrong in the eyes of the Most High. Your actions do have consequences. You are not exempt. Enjoy your little parade and celebration right now. You dropped the ball on the 1 yard line. According to the word of the Lord, which the man of God proclaimed, who proclaimed these words. Then he said, "What title is that I see?" And the men of the city told him, It is it is the sepulchre of the man of God, which came from Judah, and proclaimed these things that thou hast done against the altar of Bethel, against the gravestone. So even if you wanted to kill me off, you still wanted to piss on my grave. Oh man, yeah. You know, the planets are seeing everything that you've done. Yeah, there's many people that try to piss on my gravestone. Yeah, what goes around comes around. And he said, "Let him alone." He said, "Let him alone. You better leave Prime Black alone." So they let his bones alone. So you picked of Prime Black. Rest in peace. That's what y'all did. Y'all said rest in all the houses, also of the high places that were in the cities of Samaria, which the kings of Israel had made to provoke the Lord to anger. Josiah took away and did to them according to all the acts that he had done in Bethel, and he slew all the priests of all of the high places that were there upon the altars, billionaires, trillionaires, it doesn't matter, and burned men's bones on them. And the king commanded all the people, saying, "Keep the Passover unto the Lord your God, as it is written in the book of this covenant. Surely there was not such a Passover in the days of the judges that judged Israel, nor in all the days of the kings, nor the kings of Judah." Mm. But in the 18th year of King Josiah, wherein this Passover was holden to the Lord in Jerusalem. Moreover, the workers with familiar spirits, and the wizards, and the images, and the idols, and all the abominations that were spied in the land of Judah and in Jerusalem, did Josiah put away, that he might perform the words of the law which were written in the book that Hilkiah the priest found in the house of the Lord. And like unto him was there no king before him, that turned to the Lord with all his heart, and with all his soul, and with all his might, according to all the law of Moses. Neither after him arose there any like him. Notwithstanding, the Lord turned not from the fierceness of his great wrath, wherewith his anger was kindled against Judah, because of all the provocations that Manasseh had provoked him withal. That I will remove Judah as I have removed Israel, and will cast off this city, Jerusalem, which I have chosen, and the house of which I said, My name shall be there. Now the rest of the acts of Josiah and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? In his days, Pharaoh Necho, king of Egypt went up against the king of Assyria to the river Euphrates, and King Josiah went against him, and he slew him at Megiddo when he had seen him, and his servants carried him in a chariot dead from Megiddo, and brought him to Jerusalem, and buried him in his own sepulchre. And the people of the land took Jehoahaz, the son of Josiah, and anointed him, and made him king in his father's stead. Jehoahaz was 23 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 3 months in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Hamutal, and the daughter of Jeremiah of Libnah. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, according to all that his fathers had done. And Pharaoh Necho put him in bands in prison at Riblah in the land of Hamath, that he might not reign in Jerusalem, and put the land to a tribute of 100 talents of silver and a talent of gold. And Pharaoh Necho made Eliakim, the son of Josiah, king in the room of Josiah's father, and turned his name to Jehoiakim, and took Jehoiahaz, and he came to Egypt and died there. Excuse me. And Jehoiakim gave the silver and the gold to Pharaoh, but he taxed the land to give the money according to the commandment of Pharaoh. He exacted the silver and the gold of the people of the land, of every one according to his taxation, to give it unto Pharaoh Necho. Jehoiakim was 25 years old when he began to reign. And he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Zebudah, the daughter of Pedaiah of Rumah. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, according to all that his fathers had done. In his days, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up, and Jehoiakim became his servant 3 years. Then he turned and rebelled against him, and the Lord sent against him bands in the Chaldees, and bands of the Syrians, and bands of the Moab, and sent them against Judah according to the word of the Lord, which he spake by his servants the prophets. Surely at the commandment of the Lord came this upon Judah, to remove them out of his sight for the sins of Manasseh, according to all that he did, and also for the innocent blood that he shed. For he filled Jerusalem with innocent blood, which the Lord would not pardon. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoiakim, and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the king of Judah? So Jehoiakim slept with his fathers, and Jehoiakim his son reigned in his stead. And the king of Egypt came not. Oh, that was chapter 24. And not again any more out of his land, for the king of Babylon had taken from the river of Egypt unto the river Euphrates all that pertained to the king of Egypt. Jehoiachin was 18 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned in Jerusalem 3 months. And his mother's name was Nehushta, the daughter of Elnathan of Jerusalem. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, according to all that his father had done. And at that time, the king of Babylon came up against Jerusalem, and the city was besieged. And Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came against the city, and his servants did besiege it. And Jehoiachin, the king of Judah, went out to the king of Babylon, he and his mother and his servants and his princes, and his officers, and the king of Babylon took him in the 8th year of his reign. And he carried out thence all the treasures of the house of the Lord, and the treasures of the king's house, and cut in pieces all the vessels of gold. Hold on one second. Okay. Make sure that didn't go. I lost my place. Besieged it, and Jehoiachin, the king of Judah, went out of the king and his mother. Okay, I read that part. He carried out thence all the treasures of the house of the Lord, and the treasures of the king's house, and cut in pieces all the vessels of gold, which Solomon, king of Israel, had made in the temple of the Lord. And as the Lord has said, and he carried away all Jerusalem, and all the princes, and all the mighty men of valor, even 10,000 captives, and all the craftsmen and smiths, none remained, save the poorest sort of the people of the land. And he carried away Jehoiachin of Babylon, and the king's mother, and the king's wives, and his mothers, and the mighty of the land. Those carried he into the captivity from Jerusalem to Babylon, and all the men of might, even 7,000, and craftsmen and smiths 1,000, all that were strong and apt for war, meaning fit for war. Even them the king of Babylon brought captive to Babylon. And the king of Babylon made Mattaniah, his father's brother, king in his stead, and changed his name to Zedekiah. Zedekiah was 21 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Hamutal, the daughter of Jeremiah of Libnah. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, according to all that Joachim had done. For because of the anger of the Lord, it came to pass in Jerusalem and Judah, until he had cast them out from his presence, that Zedekiah rebelled against the king of Babylon. Chapter 25. And it came to pass in the 9th year of his reign, in the 10th month, in the 10th day of the month, that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came he and all his host against Jerusalem, and pitched against it, and they built forts against it, and the city was besieged unto the 11th year of King Zedekiah. And on the 9th day of the 4th month, the famine prevailed in the city, and there was no bread for the people of the land. And the city, all the men of war fled by night by the way of the gate between two walls, which is by the king's garden. Now the Chaldees were against the city round about, and the king went the way toward the plain. And the army of the Chaldees pursued after the king, and overtook him in the plains of Jericho, and all his army were scattered from him. So they took the king and brought him up to the king of Babylon, to Riblah, and they gave judgment upon him. And he slew the sons of Zedekiah before his eyes, and put out the eyes of Zedekiah, and bound him with fetters of brass, and carried him to Babylon. And they blinded him. And in the 5th month, on the 7th day of the month, which is the 19th year of King Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came Nebuchadnezzar, captain of the guard, a servant of the king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem. And he burnt the house of the Lord, the king and the king's house, and all the houses of Jerusalem, and every great man's house burnt with fire, and all the armies of the Chaldees that were with the captain of the guard brake down the walls of Jerusalem round about. Now the rest of the people that were left in the city, and the fugitives that fell away to the king of Babylon, with the remnant of the multitude, did Nebuchadnezzar Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuzaradan, Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, carry away. But the captain of the guard was of the poor to the land of the land to be vine dressers and husbandmen, and the pillar of brass that were in the house of the Lord, and the bases of the brazen sea that was in the house of the Lord, did the Chaldees break in pieces, and carried the brass of them to Babylon, and the pots and the shovels and the snuffers and the spoons and all the vessels of brass wherewith they ministered, took they away, and the fire pans and the bowls and such things as were of gold and of silver in silver. And captain of the guard took away the two pillars, one sea, and the two bases which son of Solomon had made for the house of the Lord. The brass of all these vessels was without weight; they were beyond measure. The height of the one pillar was 18 cubits, and the chapter upon it was brass, and the height of the chapiter 3 cubits, and the wreathen work and the pomegranates upon the chapiter around about all brass, and un, and like unto these had the second pillar with wreathen work. And the captain of the guard took Saraiah, Seraiah, the chief priest, and Zephaniah, the king, the second priest, and the three keepers of the door out of the city. He took an officer that was set over the men of war, and 5 men of them, that were in the king's presence, which were found in the city, and the principal scribe of the host, which mustered the people of the land, and 60 men of the people of the land that were found in the city, and Nebuzaradan, captain of the guard, took these and brought them to the king of Babylon to Riblah. And the king of Babylon smote them and slew them at the Riblah in the land of Hamath. So Judah was carried out of their land. And as for the land of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had left, even over them he made Gedaliah, the son of Ahiam, the son of Shaphan, ruler. And when all the captains of the armies, they and their men, heard that the king of Babylon had made Gedaliah governor, there came to Gedaliah to Mizpah, even Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, and Johanan, the son of Kariah, and Seraiah, the son of Tanhumeth, uh, the Nephthathite, the Netophathite, and Jaazaniah, son of Maakathite, they and their men, and Gedaliah swear to them and to their men, and said unto them, Fear not to be the servants of the Chaldees. Dwell in the land and serve the king of Babylon, and it shall be well with you. But it came to pass in the 7th month that Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, the son of Elishama, of the seed royal, came, and 10 men with him, and smote Gedaliah, that he died, and the Jews and the Chaldees that were with him in Mizpah, and all the people, both small and great, and the captains of the armies arose and came to Egypt, for they were afraid of Chaldees. And it came to pass in the 7th and 13th year of the captivity of Jehoiachin, king of Judah, in the 12th month, on the 7th and 12th day of the month, that evil me Rodash, well, that's the name, king of Babylon, in the year that he began to reign, did lift up the head of Jehoiachin, king of Judah, out of prison, and he spake kindly to him, and set his throne above the throne of the kings that were with him in Babylon, and changed his prison garments. And he did eat bread, food, continually before him all the days of his life. And his allowance was a continual allowance given him of the king, a daily rate for every day, all the life. Great. And then take all they steal and cheat. And they'll lie, steal, and cheat to get what they want, not for what the Most High wants. And you people will be exposed and be revealed as the veil, the king's clothes, all the credit. Yeah, will pay daily for the rest of your life, whether you or your children or your children's children. They will pay for what you have done for the rest of all generations. It says right here, and you've done it. And that is the end of chapter 25, the second book of Kings. Shalom, family.